Go.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today, I wanted to talk to you about finances. We have a lot of new subscribers and I wanted to give you a little bit of my background and history. I went to college and I became a financial planner. I worked for a financial planning firm for 11 years. What I learned there encouraged me to get out of the field of financial planning, and it has a lot to do with what we're starting to see materialize in our financial system, and it has a lot to do with the lifestyle that we selected and have chosen, and why we're doing it. It has a lot to do with what I call our food 401k. It has a lot to do with what we call dirt coin, and it's the way that I decided to invest moving into the future. So I was a financial planner for 11 years. I was a junior partner and I did portfolio analysis, and really we used a software called Morningstar Principia Pro, and it was rather automated. But what that would do is it would show you all the overlap in the portfolios, and I started noticing anomalies within these portfolios and within these fund families that were completely upside down and backwards. And I brought it up, and it kind of got ignored and everything. And then as the Lord would have it, I ended up being pushed out of my position, and for the better, and I ended up getting into construction. But because of what I saw in the financial planning field and in the markets, and then coming out of financial planning, I did day trading for a year, and it was during our last 2008 crash when I was day trading, and I was using this expensive software, and I was day trading for a rather wealthy guy. I was trading his account, and I learned a lot doing that, and I learned how to trade options and all these different things. And when the market crashed and I saw all of these financial stocks circulating, 99 cents a dollar, 99 cents a dollar, I came up with an idea. I said, I got an idea how we can print money, right? And I reached out on Fiverr and I asked a programmer, I said, hey, can we develop a software that buys and sells on a penny? And he said, absolutely. It would cost you like $350. And he's like, what platform are you trading on? And it was Scott Trade Elite platform. And he said, yeah, no problem. So then I called Scott Trade Elite and I said, hey, if I want to trade on a penny, what's our standard deviation? And the guy said, well, plus or minus a penny. And I'm like, well, which is it, plus or minus a penny? And he was like, well, we can't guarantee that it's plus or minus a penny. It's plus or minus a penny. And what he was saying is, you don't get the penny. And what I was watching is companies like AIG, companies like Citigroup. I had a screen full of stocks that would trade 6 to 9 million shares a day on a penny all day, millions of shares every day for weeks and months and months and months. And I said, man, if I could figure out how to do this. So what I did is I started calling to all the trading houses. And basically the resounding message I got was, you can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. The only people that can do that are the big boys, and the really big boys, not the millionaires, but the billionaires. And if you do a little more research and you look into what happened on 9/11 with the futures options that were purchased on the way that the airlines were shorted and all that stuff, and you learn about the millions and millions and millions of dollars that were made on 9/11 because people knew the planes were going to crash and they knew which airlines and all that good stuff, and nobody was prosecuted, right? So what I kept seeing in the financial markets and the financial institutions, besides the fact that they were completely synthetic, besides the fact that they were completely derivative, was I just saw full-blown illegal chicanery. And at the same time, I knew of other individuals that owned companies that were trying to go IPO, and I saw the scrutiny, right, and the attack, and the SEC, just the machine. And I saw all that, and I'm like, It's just like the justice system, right? It's just us. It's just them, and you ain't in the club. Well, the financial system is exactly the same. It's just them, and you ain't in the club. And you don't get to do all the tricks, right? And you don't get to do all the fancy stuff. And you don't get to win on every trade, right? You don't get to pre-market buy and sell to a contract that's already been sold for fractional, you know. So this is what's going on. So because of all that, in 2008, we got completely out of the market. I had different kinds of investments. I had stocks and bonds. I had variable universal life policy. We had real estate and different things like that. I had Roth IRAs and traditional IRAs. We had some annuities. So I liquidated everything in 2008. And I said, I'm not going back into the market. It's a fraud. It's fake. It's a setup, right? And this was 2008. We're 2022. I can't even recall right now off the top of my head where the Dow was. The Dow couldn't have been more than 15, and we're currently at 30. We were at 33 or 35 or something. I track it for amusement is all. I don't pay attention to it that much because it's completely absurd and obscene, and it's completely derivative. And once they started fractional lending, so where am I going with all this? What am I talking about? Well, I'm here in our food 401k, right? So what I decided is after we moved 8 years ago, and I decided to start investing in infrastructure, start investing in food, start investing in dirt, start investing in real assets that will provide us with something real, something tangible, something that we can trade, something that we can barter, something that we can bless other people with, and something that, and at the time I wasn't a farmer, y'all. I'd never raised anything green in my entire life. I had never planted a garden. I had never done any of that stuff. And I said, you know what? This is what we have to do. This is where we can invest. And now, 8 years later, we are finally starting to see results of all this hyperinflation and all these different issues we're having. We're seeing the results of all this money shenanigans. Now, here's what makes this upcoming financial event different than the previous financial events. You know, since 1971, we've been off of the gold standard, and you know, we went to the petrodollar. Well, now that's very precarious because of BRICS and because of Russia and China and what they're getting ready to do, what it looks like they're signaling that they're going to do. And most of the world has been wanting to unpeg from the petrodollar. And since there is no gold standard and there's no money back, you know, the reason we were able to recover from the Great Depression, which was a controlled demolition of the economy that was absolutely manufactured by the banking cartel. The Great Depression was absolutely manufactured, and they swooped in and they scooped up everything for pennies on the dollar. Well, that was when there was a standard. There was a gold standard, and we had a monetary policy where we were backed with a real asset. That doesn't exist. And not only does that not exist, now we do this fractional lending, and there is no such thing as reserve or cash reserve. There is no such thing. It does not exist. So that is what's going to make this financial problem that's coming, you know, the big fat chicken that's all its feathers have fallen out and it's got the bird flu, you know, that chicken that's coming home to roost, that chicken, that's what's going to make it unpredictable. We're not going to be able to predict. But here's what I can predict. The reason that there's going to be CBDC, which is central bank digital currency, the reason there's going to be CBDC is because this time when the market starts to crash and the cash starts to crash and all these things, there's no plunge protection team. They're not going to be able to print their way out of it. They're not going to be able to liquidate their way out of it. They're not going to be able to tighten and do all these things. Feds, rates, and all this stuff. You know, oh, Volcker kept the rate too high for too long. And then Greenspan kept the rate for too low for too long. No, all that shenanigans and all that financial political theater is over. So the reason that they need, and this is by design, to foist this central bank digital currency upon us, because now the solution, the only solution and the only remedy when all the dollars crashes, hey, look, y'all, don't worry about it. You know, I know your paper cash crashed and it's not worth, it's literally worthless, but here's how you're going to be able to get all your money back. You're going to turn in all your cash and we're going to convert it into this new central bank digital currency. And this way, you know, it's backed by us and it's great and it's going to restore your value and it's going to restore your buying power and all these different things. This is also why with this green agenda, what they want to monetize. So they've already monetized everything else out there, and it's so completely synthetic and it's so completely gone. So now what they want to do is they want to monetize human beings, the cells in your body. They want to monetize the microbiome in the soil, right? And the worms and the regenerative value. They want to monetize all that to literally extract all of it. And we're seeing this happen, and you know, I've been waiting for a correction for a very long time. We're in an incredible bull market. I mean, currently we're in a recession, and we have been in a recession, and by definition we are in a recession. But there has been this so much fiscal manipulation. They've been able to completely, since 2008 and since we came out of that crash and correction, they've been able to float this boat, and this boat ain't gonna float no more, and they know it. And they're doing that by design. They know it. They need to crash the financial system to bring in central bank digital currency. And I don't know what the solution to that is. We believe in real estate, we believe in dirt, we believe in infrastructure. That's what we systematically invest into. We do also believe in gold and silver and real assets. I want to believe in crypto as an optional form. I think there's value in crypto in the sense of if we're still going to be able to buy, sell, and trade online, which that may or may not even be a possibility. I do absolutely believe that we're going to have a parallel society and a parallel economy. And that is why I think it's very wise to move out of the cities, move out of these flashpoints, move out of these densely populated areas, move out into the country where people are by nature more self-sustainable and more self-reliant and are friendlier and kinder and believing community and work with their community and care about their community. I believe that is critical. That's why we did it 8 years ago, you know, and if you didn't do it 8 years ago, do it now. You know, do it as soon as you can do it. But do it, you know, don't keep, well, I'll wait. Because you know what? I have friends that told me 8 years ago, yeah, I'm going to do that. And 8 years later, and they're still doing the same thing that they were doing 8 years ago and complaining about it. And, oh, well, you know, and all this stuff. And I'm like, wow, well, you said you were going to do it 8 years ago. And now you're 8 years older and 8 years more of all the stuff and the shenanigans. And we planted this stuff, y'all, 4 or 5 years ago, and now it's actually paying dividends. It's actually, we're going to pick all these pears and we're going to make pear butter, and these are more bacon pears, but we have 6 or 7 or 8 variety, and we have eaten pears, and we have a lot of different varieties of peaches and all this stuff. But you know, the financial chickens are going to come home to roost, and I've been seeing the financial manipulation since I started in the financial planning field in 1999. I saw the .com crash. I got to experience that, and I was fresh out of college. So we've seen all this handwriting on the wall, and to see it, and to see all this quantitative easing, and then to learn about these lost trillions from the military-industrial complex, and these mega trillions that Catherine Austin Fitts talks about on the Fed balance sheets with these cookbook fake balance sheets. Check out the Solari report if you want to learn more about, or John Titus. John Titus has a great YouTube channel, and he talks about all this stuff, the way they cook the books. And these books are cooked and everybody knows it. And these trillions of dollars are missing, and where are they? And a lot of them have been invested into the Panopticon track trace database, you know, track them, stack them. Curtis Stone, I was listening to, I love Curtis Stone, man. Track you, stack you. I don't know, it was awesome. I can't quite recall what exactly he said, but it was good stuff. Yeah, so I just wanted to put this video out there, just pushing out this information. This is from my experiences in life and where I've been and what I've seen. And this is the reality. Our monetary system is completely synthetic and artificial, and 80% of everyone's life is completely synthetic and artificial. And we need, so what's the solution? How do we do that? We need to get real. Okay, you need to get real. You need to get real estate. You need to get your hands in the dirt. You need to turn off your devices and put down your iPads and turn off your gaming systems and develop real life skills and develop real stuff that's going to feed your family. And that's the solution. The solution is we need to get back to reality. We need to unsynthesize our life and get back to reality, right? Get back to God's creation, get back to the Bible. And God wrote us an instruction manual, right? And he said, here's what I created, here's how it works, here's how we do all this, right? And that is real, you know, and there's plenty of people that'll argue about that, how that isn't real. And I'll pray for you, that's all I can tell you, because it's absolutely real. And when you apply those principles and we do these things, we see the results, and that's reality. And so the solution to this financial crisis that is coming is you need to get real. We need to unplug and become less synthetic. You need to go for a walk outside in the woods. You know, you need to plant something. You need to grow something. You need to eat something that you planted. And if you're growing a cow, you need to kill a cow with your hands and butcher it and eat that cow. And that's why, because it's real, you know? You need to get real. It's time to get real. And the solution is getting real. And even if you do all those things, right? And even if you buy 20 or 40 or 50 or 100 acres, and even if you've planted this stuff 5 years ago, right? That don't mean that it's going to be like a walk in the park or honky-dory or whatever. It might not be too bad. It will be a lot better than most, right? If you're stacked high and deep in some high rise, I wish I had better news for you. I don't. And and that's not fear mongering. I mean, just look where they're welding people shut in their high rises in China, y'all. Stack them high and deep. That's how you control them. You stack them high and deep, and then you lock this. All you got to do is lock the door on the first floor. All you got to do is weld the door shut on the first floor. How are you getting out? Where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And even if you could get out and go, what are you going to do? If the infrastructure is going, if the railroad union would have went on strike, it would have cataclysmically affected the supply lines. And it appeared like that's what they wanted to happen. They worked out the deal. See, it doesn't always have to go the way that they want it to go, all right? That's the whole point of all this. That's the point of the information. That's the point of disseminating the information. That's the report. You know why? Hey, you know why 8 years ago we dropped everything and liquidated everything? Well, didn't liquidate anything. We just left it where it was, and we moved with nothing and didn't know anybody. Because we saw all these different indicators, right? And I had all these different experiences, and I had seen all these things, and I'm like, hey, this isn't good, right? And here's the beauty of all that. So now we're 8 years into the future, and we have infrastructure, right? And it wasn't, the last 8 years were terrible. Guess what, y'all? The last 8 years were wonderful. The last 8 years were magnificent. The last 8 years, I wouldn't trade it for any 8 years in history. And all that time wasn't easy. But you know what? We're literally going to reap the fruit of our labor. And if now this is a bacon pear. It's ready to pick. It's actually pretty sweet. It's not bad. I was going to say, if this was an eaten pear, I'll break it off and eat it. This is actually pretty good. And these aren't even the ones that you eat. These are real good for like pear butter. But y'all, that's my message for today. I pray that it helps somebody. I pray that maybe you've been saying, hey, look at this. Hey, look at that. Hey, look at this. I was watching Curtis Stone talking about building your ark or whatever. And I listened to that guy and I'm like, that guy is like my doppelganger twin. Like he's saying all the stuff that I said 8 years ago. This is why we did this 8 years ago. And I was like, it was awesome. It was very encouraging. So maybe you're that guy or gal and you haven't done anything yet. Well, there's your push, there's your nudge. Hey, everybody else is nudging you, all your social media, your poke, you know, that nudge, the social planners with the nudge, with their elbow in your back. You don't feel it, but you're 6 inches closer to where they want you than you were yesterday. And you know, it's so subtle. And you can win and you can choose to do the right thing in the same subtle way and move just like that. And that's what this video is for you. And if you don't like the video, unsubscribe. If you don't like the video, I don't understand these weird people that make negative comments about videos. There's only like 5 billion YouTube channels, and there's plenty of silly ones that you can waste your time with, and so go watch them, all right? But we don't feed the trolls, so if you want to be a troll, make a troll comment. That's cool too. But on this channel, we don't feed the trolls. And we do have our new shirts in, y'all, so check them out. Appreciate y'all, love y'all, thank y'all. Y'all have a blessed night, great day, whatever time it is for you. And we'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.